Listen to me carefully. This is not a metaphor. This is not poetry. This is not motivational exaggeration. This is a divine announcement. What you have been calling delay has already been decided as provision. What you have been fearing as lack has already been settled in the unseen. What you have been worrying about late at night, whispering to yourself in silence, wondering how it could ever happen. God has already funded your entire dream life. Not someday, not after you prove yourself, not when conditions improve. It is already done in the realm that controls everything you can see. You must understand this truth deeply, because until you do, you will keep praying like a beggar for what has already been released. God does not give dreams without backing them. God does not plant vision without provision. God does not stir desire without already assigning the supply to fulfill it. When God gives a dream, the funding is not a future event. It is part of the same decision. The moment the dream entered your heart, the resources to accomplish it were already set in motion. You are not chasing money. You are not chasing opportunity. You are not chasing approval. You are simply walking toward what God has already authorized. Many people misunderstand how God works because they look with natural eyes. They measure their future by their current bank account. They measure their calling by their current connections. They measure their destiny by their present limitations. But God never starts with what you see. God starts with what He has spoken. And once God speaks, the resources must obey. Heaven does not struggle to fund divine assignments. Heaven does not debate whether your dream is realistic. Heaven responds only to obedience, alignment, and faith. Let me speak to the tired soul listening to this. The one who has almost buried their dream because life became heavy. You did not imagine that vision. You did not create that hunger on your own, that desire to build, to create, to serve, to expand, to rise. That came from God. And God does not tease His children with impossible visions. God does not mock you with dreams you were never meant to fulfill. If the dream is alive in you, the funding already exists beyond you. There is a dangerous lie that has kept many faithful people small. The lie that you must first see resources before you move. That lie paralyzes destiny. God never asked you to see provision before obedience. God asked you to move before the door appears. When you take the step, the ground forms under your feet. When you speak, the supply responds. When you obey, the backing reveals itself. This is not reckless faith. This is how divine systems operate. Some of you have been faithful in secret, consistent without applause, disciplined without recognition, obedient without reward, and you are wondering if God has forgotten you. Hear this clearly. Silence does not mean absence. Delay does not mean denial. Preparation often feels like neglect until suddenly it reveals itself as precision. God has been aligning people you have never met, opportunities you have never imagined, and resources you have never touched, all to converge at the right moment. Your dream is not late. You are being synchronized. God funds dreams in ways that embarrass logic. He does not always send money first. Sometimes He sends favor. Sometimes He sends ideas. Sometimes He sends wisdom. Sometimes He removes distractions. Sometimes He closes doors that would have drained you. Sometimes He allows pressure so you develop strength to carry what is coming. You thought the struggle meant you were unqualified. In reality, the struggle was training you to manage abundance without losing yourself. You must shift how you define funding. Funding is not just currency, it is capacity, it is clarity, it is courage, it is timing, it is access, it is relationships, it is skill, it is endurance. Many people receive money and still fail because they were never funded internally. God is not reckless with blessing. He builds the vessel before He pours the overflow. What feels like waiting is often reinforcement. Let me say something that may challenge you. If God gave you everything at once, it would crush you. If the full weight of your dream landed on your current mindset, it would overwhelm you. That is why God releases provision progressively while strengthening you personally. You are not behind, you are being fortified. Every delay has been intentional. Every closed door has been protective. Every setback has been strategic. You are not meant to beg systems that God never authorized to support you. When God funds your dream, He does not rely on one source. He becomes the source behind every channel. People may help, institutions may open, opportunities may appear, but your confidence must never rest in them. God can use them, replace them, or bypass them entirely. When your trust is in God alone, no human refusal can stop what has already been approved. Some of you have been afraid to dream again because the last disappointment hurt too deeply. But hear this truth: disappointment does not mean your dream was wrong. It means your timing or method was incomplete. God is not finished because you were hurt. God is not offended by your questions. God is not threatened by your fears. He is waiting for you to trust Him again, not with naive optimism, but with mature faith that understands process. There is a reason your dream keeps returning to you. There is a reason it still stirs your spirit. There is a reason it refuses to die, even when you try to let it go. That persistence is not stubbornness, it is divine imprint. God has marked that vision inside you, and until it is expressed, you will never feel fully satisfied. You can distract yourself, you can settle temporarily, but your spirit knows there is more because God has already invested in it. You must stop apologizing for the size of your vision. You must stop shrinking your language to make others comfortable. Small minds will always criticize large dreams because they cannot see beyond their limitations. But God did not consult public opinion when He called you. He did not ask your critics for permission. He planted the vision knowing exactly what it would cost, and He paid that cost in advance. Faith is not denial of reality, it is alignment with a higher one. Reality says you lack. Faith says God supplies. Reality says you are alone. Faith says God orchestrates. Reality says it is impossible. Faith says God specializes in impossibility. When faith speaks, circumstances must eventually bow. They may resist, they may delay, they may challenge, but they cannot win. Some of you are one decision away from movement, one act of obedience away from momentum, one step away from evidence. Stop waiting to feel ready. Readiness comes from obedience, not comfort. God does not call the confident, He builds confidence through calling. When you move in faith, fear loses authority. When you act despite uncertainty, power activates. Understand this deeply. God funds purpose, not ego. When your dream is aligned with service, growth, contribution, and impact, heaven responds aggressively. When your intention is pure, resources find you. When your motive is aligned, resistance weakens. Examine your heart, refine your reason, and move forward without hesitation. You may not see the full path, but you do not need to. You only need enough light for the next step. God rarely reveals the entire journey because you would either rush ahead or retreat in fear. Instead, He gives daily guidance, daily strength, daily provision. This keeps you dependent, grounded, and focused. Some doors will open suddenly. Some breakthroughs will happen without warning. Some support will come from unexpected places. Do not be shocked when what you prayed for arrives in a form you did not anticipate. God is not limited by your imagination. He often exceeds it. Stay flexible. Stay grateful. Stay obedient. You must also prepare your mindset for increase. Stop thinking like someone who is about to lose. Stop planning for failure. Stop rehearsing disaster. Your words matter. Your expectations matter. Your internal dialogue matters. Speak life over your dream. Speak confidence into your future. Speak gratitude before evidence appears. Gratitude accelerates manifestation. God has been watching how you handle little things, how you manage small responsibilities, how you treat people when no reward is visible. These moments are not insignificant, they are qualifications. Integrity is a form of funding. Discipline is a form of wealth. Consistency is a form of power. You are being evaluated not to disqualify you, but to entrust you with more. Let me remind you of this. God is not late. He is precise. He is never rushed, never panicked, never confused. When the moment is right, everything aligns effortlessly. What felt impossible suddenly feels inevitable. What required strain suddenly flows. That is the signature of divine timing. You are not competing with anyone else's destiny. You are not behind because someone else succeeded faster. God's timeline for you is custom designed. Comparison steals joy and distorts vision. Focus on your assignment. Focus on your growth. Focus on your obedience. Your dream will require courage. It will demand patience. It will stretch your faith. But it will also bring fulfillment that nothing else can replace. Do not trade destiny for comfort. Do not exchange calling for convenience. You were created for more than survival. You were designed for impact. God has already gone ahead of you. He has secured what you will need at each stage. You are not walking into uncertainty. You are walking into alignment. Every step taken in faith activates what was already prepared. Lift your expectation. Strengthen your resolve. Refuse to shrink back. What God has funded cannot be canceled. What God has approved cannot be reversed. What God has initiated must be completed. Your dream is alive because God is faithful. Your future is secure because God is intentional. Your provision is certain because God does not abandon what He begins. Move forward with confidence, knowing that heaven has already invested in you and the unseen support is far greater than anything you could ever calculate. There is a deeper layer to this truth that many overlook, and it must be spoken plainly. God does not merely fund the end of your dream, He funds the entire journey. Every season you must walk through has already been accounted for. The strength you will need when pressure increases, the wisdom required when choices become complex, the discernment needed when opportunities multiply. None of this is accidental. God never sends you into a future unprepared. What you will need tomorrow is already being formed in you today. You may feel stretched right now, but stretching is evidence of expansion. Comfort never enlarges capacity. Ease never develops authority. God stretches you because He sees how much you are about to carry. He strengthens your inner world before He enlarges your outer one. This is why moments of discomfort often precede moments of acceleration. The resistance you feel is not opposition, it is preparation. Understand this clearly. God is not responding to your desperation. He is responding to alignment. When your heart aligns with His purpose, provision responds naturally. You do not need to convince God to bless what He initiated. You do not need to persuade Him to support what He designed. Your responsibility is not to force results, but to remain faithful to the process. There are times when God intentionally withholds visible evidence so your trust deepens. If you only believe when you see, your faith is conditional. But when you trust without proof, your faith matures. Mature faith moves even when emotions are quiet. Mature faith acts even when affirmation is absent. Mature faith obeys even when outcomes are unclear. Some of you are learning the discipline of waiting, and waiting is not inactivity. Waiting is alignment without anxiety. Waiting is obedience without urgency. Waiting is trusting God's timing over your impatience. This kind of waiting refines the soul. It removes entitlement. It strengthens humility. It prepares you to receive blessing without pride. God is teaching you how to carry success without losing integrity. He is shaping your character so your dream does not consume you. Many people reach what they ask for and then collapse under its weight because they were never prepared internally. God will not allow your blessing to become your burden. He is more committed to your wholeness than your speed. Do not mistake slow progress for stagnation. Growth often happens beneath the surface before it becomes visible above it. Roots grow in silence. Foundations are laid unseen. Strength is built quietly. When the structure rises, people will call it sudden, but you will know it was faithful consistency over time. God has also been teaching you discernment. Not every opportunity is a blessing. Not every open door is aligned. Sometimes God says no, not to punish you, but to protect your focus. When your dream is funded by God, you must be selective with your energy. Distraction is one of the greatest threats to destiny. Your discipline is proof that God trusts you. Your restraint is evidence of maturity. Your willingness to wait instead of forcing outcomes shows that your confidence is anchored in God, not in external validation. This posture attracts divine support. There will be moments when fear attempts to speak louder than faith. Fear will question your ability, your worth, your readiness. Do not entertain those voices. Fear is a liar that disguises itself as logic. Faith does not argue with fear. It moves despite it. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is obedience in the presence of fear. God has not overlooked your sacrifices. Every unseen act of obedience has been recorded. Every moment you chose integrity over convenience mattered. Every time you trusted God instead of compromising your values, it strengthened your future. Nothing done in faith is ever wasted. There is also a divine exchange happening in your life. God is removing old mindsets that cannot survive where He is taking you. Some relationships may feel distant. Some habits may no longer satisfy you. Some environments may feel uncomfortable. This is not loss. It is transition. You are shedding what cannot accompany you into your next season. God funds transformation before manifestation. He reshapes your thinking so you can steward increase wisely. If your mindset remains small, abundance becomes dangerous. God expands your vision gradually so your growth is sustainable. You must also recognize that your dream is not just about you. God's dreams always extend beyond personal gain. They bless others. They bring restoration. They create impact. When your vision aligns with serve, resistance weakens and support multiplies. God blesses generosity of spirit. There will be moments when you must speak to your own soul. When discouragement whispers, remind yourself of what God has already carried you through. When doubt rises, recall how far you have come. Memory is a weapon against despair. Gratitude anchors hope. God is also teaching you patience with people. Not everyone will understand your process. Not everyone will celebrate your obedience. Some will misunderstand your silence, your restraint, your faith. Release the need to be understood. Your validation does not come from consensus, it comes from obedience. The pace of your progress is intentional. God knows exactly when to accelerate and when to slow you down. Rushing ahead creates mistakes. Lagging behind creates frustration. Trust the rhythm God has set for you. It is calibrated to your growth. When breakthrough comes, remain humble. Humility preserves blessing. Gratitude sustains increase. Acknowledge God in every victory. Remember the lessons learned in the waiting. Success without humility leads to isolation. Success with gratitude leads to longevity. Your dream will require resilience. There will be days when energy feels low and motivation fades. Those are the days discipline carries you. Commitment matters more than emotion. Faithfulness in routine builds momentum over time. God is not intimidated by the complexity of your vision. He understands every detail. He anticipates every challenge. Nothing surprises him. When obstacles arise, do not panic. Obstacles are often indicators that progress is occurring. You must also learn to rest. Rest is not laziness, it is trust. When you rest, you acknowledge that God works even when you pause. Overworking is often rooted in fear. Rest is rooted in confidence that God is in control. Your dream life is funded not only financially, but spiritually and emotionally. God is strengthening your inner resilience, so external pressure does not overwhelm you. He is anchoring you so success does not distort your identity. There will come a moment when things shift quickly. Momentum will build. Doors will open in succession. Clarity will sharpen. Confidence will rise. When that moment arrives, stay grounded. Move forward without arrogance. Progress with humility. Remember this always. God is faithful to complete what He begins. He does not abandon His investments. He does not withdraw support halfway. He does not forget His promises. What He starts, He finishes. There is a sacred discipline God is cultivating within you right now, and it is the discipline of trust when outcomes are not immediate. Trust is not passive, it is an active surrender of control. When you release control, you make room for divine precision. God does not improvise, He orchestrates. Every pause has a purpose, every reroute has intention, every unseen delay is aligning unseen forces on your behalf. You must recognize that God often answers prayers in layers. What you ask for may not arrive all at once because wisdom is released progressively. God reveals only what you are ready to steward. If He unveiled everything at once, fear would overwhelm faith. Instead, He gives you just enough clarity to keep moving, just enough assurance to keep believing, just enough strength to keep standing. Some of you are being taught to walk by conviction rather than emotion. Emotions fluctuate, but conviction anchors. When conviction leads, you do not abandon your assignment when feelings change. You remain steady when praise is absent and criticism is loud. God develops conviction because conviction sustains purpose. God is also refining how you listen. Not every voice deserves your attention. Noise can sound urgent, but urgency is not always divine. God speaks with clarity, not chaos. When you learn to recognize His direction, confusion loses influence. Peace becomes your compass. There is a divine economy at work in your life, one that operates beyond human systems. When God funds a dream, He does not rely on trends, markets, or approval. He bypasses limitations and establishes provision in ways that cannot be traced to chance. This is why some of your breakthroughs will confuse observers. They will not understand how it happened because it was not designed to make sense. It was designed to demonstrate faithfulness. God is also teaching you to release bitterness. Resentment drains energy needed for progress. Forgiveness is not weakness, it is freedom. When you forgive, you cut ties with emotional debt and reclaim your focus. God cannot advance you while your heart is anchored to past wounds. Healing is part of preparation. There will be moments when you must choose obedience over comfort. Comfort keeps you safe. Obedience makes you effective. God does not call you to a life of ease, but to a life of impact. Impact requires courage. Courage grows when you act despite uncertainty. Do not underestimate the power of small acts done consistently. Faithfulness in routine often produces greater results than sporadic intensity. God honors persistence. When you show up even when motivation is low, you demonstrate maturity. Maturity attracts responsibility. You may notice that your tolerance for shallow pursuits has decreased. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. God is sharpening your focus. When your purpose becomes clear, distractions lose appeal. Simplicity becomes strength. God is also building resilience in you, so criticism does not derail you. Opinions will come and go. Praise will fluctuate. Critique will arise. None of it defines you. God alone defines your worth and direction. When you internalize His truth, external noise loses authority. There are lessons God teaches only through endurance. Shortcuts may promise speed, but they rob depth. God values depth because depth sustains longevity. When trials test your resolve, they also increase your capacity to carry responsibility. You are learning to partner with God rather than pressure Him. Partnership requires trust. Pressure assumes doubt. When you align with God's pace, you move with confidence rather than anxiety. Anxiety often comes from trying to control outcomes that belong to God. Your dream is not competing with time, it is unfolding within it. Time serves purpose, not the other way around. When God decides the moment is right, time accelerates. What took years to prepare may manifest quickly when alignment is complete. God is also teaching you gratitude before manifestation. Gratitude acknowledges that provision already exists. When you give thanks early, you activate faith. Gratitude shifts focus from what is missing to what is assured. There will be seasons when you feel unseen. Those seasons teach you to rely on God's presence rather than recognition. Visibility is not validation. Many powerful transformations occur away from public view. When the time comes, your preparation will speak louder than any announcement. You must guard your inner dialogue. Speak truth to yourself when doubt attempts to dominate. Remind yourself that God does not make mistakes. If He entrusted you with the vision, He also entrusted you with the ability to fulfill it. God is also preparing you for stewardship. Increase requires wisdom. Influence requires humility. Authority requires responsibility. God equips you gradually so you are not overwhelmed by what you receive. There will be moments when you must stand firm in faith, even when circumstances contradict you. Faith is not denial, it is declaration. You declare alignment with what God has spoken over what you see. Your journey will inspire others even before you realize it. Quiet perseverance speaks loudly. Integrity in adversity becomes a testimony. God uses your process as evidence of His faithfulness. As you continue forward, remain teachable. Pride limits growth, humility expands it. God gives insight to those willing to learn. When correction comes, receive it without defensiveness. Correction refines, not diminishes. You are not alone in this journey. God walks with you through uncertainty, strengthens you in weakness, and sustains you when energy fades. His presence is constant even when progress feels slow. When fulfillment arrives, remember the waiting, remember the lessons, remember the growth. Gratitude will keep your heart grounded. Faith will keep your vision clear. There is also a divine reshaping of your courage taking place, and it is subtle but powerful. God is teaching you how to stand without needing permission, how to move without consensus, how to obey without applause. Courage that depends on validation collapses under pressure, but courage rooted in God becomes unshakable. You are learning to stand alone when necessary, not because you are isolated, but because you are anchored. This anchoring is essential for where you are going. God is also refining your sense of responsibility. When dreams are small, accountability feels light. When dreams are large, responsibility becomes sacred. God trained you to honor commitments, to respect process, to finish what you start. Completion is a spiritual principle. God completes what He begins, and He teaches you to do the same. In finishing small tasks faithfully, you are practicing for greater assignments. There will be moments when your faith is tested not by lack but by choice. Options will appear that seem easier, faster, more comfortable, not ever. Why shortcut is evil, but many are misaligned. God sharpens your discernment so you recognize when something is good but not right. Choosing what is right over what is easy preserves your destiny. God is also strengthening your patience with yourself. Growth is not linear. Some days you will feel strong, other days uncertain. Do not condemn yourself for human fluctuation. God does not withdraw support because of momentary weakness. He responds to sincerity, humility, and persistence. Progress continues even when emotions waver. You are also being trained to hear God in stillness. Not every instruction comes through intensity. Sometimes guidance comes quietly, gently, without urgency. When you learn to quiet your spirit, clarity emerges. Stillness sharpens perception. Silence strengthens awareness. God's provision often arrives disguised as responsibility. What looks like work is often preparation. What feels heavy may be capacity building. Do not reject what stretches you. Weight builds strength. Pressure produces endurance. God knows exactly how much to place on you without breaking you. There will be seasons when your obedience seems unnoticed. In those moments, remember that God is the ultimate witness. Human recognition is temporary, divine approval is eternal. When your heart is satisfied with God's approval, you are free from insecurity. God also teaches you how to manage success before it arrives. He checks your motives, refines your humility, deepens your gratitude. Success magnifies whatever is already inside. God ensures that when increase comes, it amplifies wisdom rather than weakness. You may feel a growing intolerance for compromise. This is not rigidity, it is clarity. When purpose becomes clear, boundaries become necessary. Boundaries protect focus. Focus accelerates progress. God honors discipline, clarity. There will be times when your faith must outlast your understanding. You will not always know why certain things happen the way they do. Trust does not require full explanation. Trust requires confidence in God's character. God does not owe you explanation, but He guarantees purpose. God is also teaching you how to release control over outcomes. Control is often rooted in fear of loss. Faith releases outcomes to God while remaining faithful to action. When you release control, peace replaces tension. Peace is a sign of alignment. Your dream life is funded with divine timing, and timing is sacred. Premature fulfillment can damage purpose. Delayed fulfillment refines it. God knows exactly when you are ready, and when the environment is ready to receive what you carry, there will be days when your strength must come from discipline rather than emotion. Discipline sustains momentum when inspiration fades. God honors discipline because it demonstrates commitment beyond feeling. God also prepares you for influence by teaching you how to listen. Listening deepens wisdom. Listening builds understanding. Influence without listening becomes domination. God values humility because humility preserves connection. You are learning to trust God's methods even when they differ from your expectations. God rarely repeats patterns. He custom designs solutions. What worked for someone else may not work for you. God's plan for you is specific, intentional, and personal. As your confidence grows, guard against pride. Pride isolates, humility connects. Humility keeps you teachable. Teachable hearts remain adaptable. Adaptability sustains relevance. There will be moments when you must act decisively. Indecision drains energy. When God gives clarity, move. Delay out of fear can be disobedience disguised as caution. Bold obedience unlocks momentum. God is also training you to endure silence from others without interpreting as rejection. Silence does not equal disapproval. Often it simply means God is working without announcement. Your dream requires emotional maturity. Emotional maturity allows you to respond rather than react. Reaction is impulsive. Response is intentional. God builds response in you so pressure does not control your behavior. As your journey continues, you will notice a deepening sense of peace. Peace does not mean absence of challenge. It means presence of trust. Peace confirms alignment. God has already measured your capacity. He knows how much you can carry, how far you can go, how strong you can become. He does not miscalculate. Every step is intentional. Remain faithful in what is in front of you. Faithfulness activates favor. Favor opens doors. Doors lead to purpose. Purpose fulfills destiny. What God has established in the unseen is already influencing the seen. Your obedience is not wasted. Your patience is not ignored. Your faith is not misplaced. The funding is secure, the process is purposeful, and the unfolding continues under the authority, wisdom, and faithfulness of God alone. God is also teaching you to celebrate small victories. Gratitude trains the heart to recognize progress. Celebration fuels endurance. When you honor growth, you invite more of it. As your capacity expands, guard your inner life. Noise increases as influence grows. Guarding your inner life preserves clarity. Clarity sustains purpose. God speaks most clearly to those who protect stillness. You are learning to trust God's justice. When wrongs go unanswered, release the need to retaliate. God balances what you cannot. Peace follows those who let go of revenge and choose trust. God is preparing you to steward momentum. Momentum is powerful but fragile. It must be guided by wisdom. When momentum arrives, do not rush ahead of discernment. Pace protects progress. Your faith is becoming quieter but stronger. Loud faith seeks proof. Strong faith walks steadily. This maturity is evidence of growth. God delights in faith that endures without spectacle. Remember that your dream is not an escape from life, it is a contribution to it. God's purpose always adds value. When you serve with sincerity, fulfillment follows naturally. You will continue to encounter moments that test your resolve. In those moments, return to first principles. Trust God, obey clearly, act faithfully. Simplicity anchors complexity. God's provision remains active even when unseen. His guidance remains present even when unheard. His faithfulness remains constant even when unacknowledged. This is the foundation you stand on. As you move forward, remain courageous, remain humble, remain faithful. The path may wind, but the destination is secure. The dream is funded, the process is purposeful, and the unfolding continues under the wisdom, authority, and unfailing faithfulness of God alone. Now hear this with unwavering clarity. Every step you have taken, every moment of obedience, every act of faith has not been in vain. God has already funded your entire dream life, and nothing can thwart what He has ordained. the unseen support, the invisible preparation, the divine orchestration, all of it is moving in your favor, and it will manifest at the perfect moment. Do not shrink back. Do not settle for less. Do not allow doubt, fear, or impatience to dictate your pace. Walk boldly, act faithfully, and trust relentlessly, for God is the source, the provider, and the guarantor of your destiny. Your dreams are not just possible, they are inevitable because God has already invested in them. Stand firm, rise higher, and embrace the fullness of what has already been prepared for you. The life you have envisioned is not a distant hope. It is a divine reality waiting for your faith to meet it.